Hey, happy Monday.
If I can't even believe I even uttered such nonsense. Mondays are pretty much dreadful for each and every one of us. But like I said, I usually do a earlier stream around 10:30 ish. But man, I've been going up and down how I've been feeling, and the waking up part of it is just where I got to monitor. So today's been kind of a rough day allergy wise. Feeling a little bit better now. I um I got some stuff that I'm gonna take here. It's just sitting right over there. When I take it, should put me out and break up a lot of the stuff. I take the grocery out, but the drainage, I've gotten that to be limited. And once I stop it up here, it doesn't start. It doesn't make it down here in effect. But like I said, I'm on some pretty potent allergy stuff. It's not a cold per se, like you can catch, but it's an allergy. It basically functions like a cold. Once the sinuses start draining at that rate into the, you know, from top to bottom, it starts. Man. I mean, like I said, obviously I know COVID would be worse, but I've been dealing with allergies since I was a kid, and it's just like this time of year. It's early. Usually it's February where it starts to choke me, but it got me. It got me in December, mid December. So hopefully this is going to be the worst of it for the next 12 months. So I'm here. Uh, Midnight, and woke Brad up out of his crib,
Yeah.
and he's probably going to be sniffling all through the stream because he's going through the same shit I am.
I think
I'm
I'm
just,
probably, I think I'm probably
yeah,
coming out of my head.
yeah, I'm a lifelong allergy guy, so I'm pretty astute because I know I can feel it coming. It's like a cough button. Except I didn't use it right there. Um, so I am in the process of getting the other stream back up. Like I said, I've been doing stuff all day, but I'm going to go ahead and mute that section because I really did like the conversation we had on Friday before Brad got us kicked off. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
because I'm waiting for that hashtag blame Brad comment in here. It's inevitably coming tonight.
Clint probably has it going if he's not already crashed out. He has bad allergies too, so he's probably suffering along with us. So yeah, not a lot to go over other than what we went over last night. I mean, no new news today. I mean, sports wise, Shohei Ohtani got $700 million fucking dollars, and you know what? He got it from my Dodgers, which is you know fine with me. And everybody's like, I'm going on my Facebook because I'm primarily a Facebook guy and I'm primarily an Instagram guy, but Facebook is where I interact the most. Sometimes Brad's bad influence on me has made me start interacting more on Twitter, and I know because I can't do this sometimes. But people are like, nobody's worth that much. I'm like, no, if he signed a contract for $700 million, then he's worth that much. It's up to the market. And all right, so you're talking about a guy who's basically we haven't seen a guy like this since Babe Ruth, and I'm not exaggerating. And Babe Ruth only pitched for a couple of years. Shohei Ohtani is a full-time pitcher. Now, he won't be pitching the first year for the Dodgers because he had Tommy John surgery again. But usually when you come back from Tommy John surgery, you actually come back better. And he's on track to pitch the first game in 2025. But he just won a second unanimous MVP with just his bat alone. His bat alone puts him at the levels higher than Mike Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, who are already making 400 and 500 million. And those guys, and Mike Trout, he's actually produced and he's actually a phenomenon. And you're talking about LA, huge Asian population. TV market alone is going to pay for it. The jerseys, the number 17 Dodger jerseys are already going to be ordered. And he's going to be on national TV every time he pitches, which means those national outlets, Apple TV, ESPN, have to buy those rights from the Dodgers. So they're going to make a ton of cash from him. Plus, he deferred most of it. So they're not paying him $70 million a year to start off. He deferred most of it because he wanted them to be able to, without having to get hit by the luxury tax, to be able to go get players so that he doesn't end up in a situation like the Angels. So yeah, so that was huge. I mean, everybody was dogging me because he's going to sign with Toronto. I'm like, he's not signing in Toronto. You guys, man, is the internet so powerful that you guys believe everything that crossed it? So okay, let me say hi to Ruth. Hi, Ruth. I know you're probably driving.
Ruth. Yeah.
My favorite Australian.
Someone's commute.
And how you doing, Larry Kakarich? You know what? I gotta just you reminded me. I gotta pull this up and have this ready because I haven't been doing my Streamlabs things, and we were actually had questions rolling through there the other night, and I'm like totally ignored you guys. Sorry. See, Rational can't wait to watch Rebel Moon. So, yeah, I mean, it's if this were any other time of year, if this were maybe February, or if this were any time before like the lead in time for me to for Christmas, I would fly to LA. I would fly. They got one in Arizona. They got one. There's a couple places that the flights are not expensive to go to. It's not the logistics of getting down there. It's leaving my responsibilities
Yeah,
here to
I
do.
feel you there.
It's like, damn it, I want to, but I know I can't. I'm being hit with the same thing that I know that's going to sort of hamper, not hamper, but kind of make it. It makes it a little bit difficult to host an event on a Friday before Christmas because everybody else is met with those same things. So if this was in February, if this was in March, April, even July, I mean, fall, any other time, I would be able to do it. But the fact that it's right in my wheelhouse, one of the most important times of the year for a small business, small retailer, and in general, any other family. I mean, it's just really tough for me to get to. So, congratulations to those of you who are that in there that don't have to pick up and travel. If they had one in Vegas, I'd be here. I would be
And
there.
that's gonna be I think on the 15th, right? This Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's just no way I could do it. But congratulations to you guys. You're going to see it. I mean,
Yeah,
spoiler. You know what? I don't mind spoilers about it because it's not. What am I going to not see it because you tell me what happens? I could care. You could tell me everything that happens right now, and I'm still going to probably watch it as many times as I plan on watching it, and plus more. So we're good there. But yeah, we got our event coming up, and over the next 4 or 5 days, you're going to start seeing some of the other specific stuff that I got going on to get to our total. Obviously, you know we have a online total that we're working with right now. It's still
we're
roughly
just past the halfway point, which again we really appreciate everybody's generosity helping us get to that point. And again, if you can, sorry, if you can, please consider donating, and if not, otherwise, just please share it around so other people be aware of the event and possibly donate themselves.
And I know payday is coming up for a lot of people. So, a lot of people are going to be waiting until then. And like I said, we're running a fundraiser in the middle of while people are trying to buy food, buy gas, pay rent, and buy gifts. So I understand. Trust me, I understand. So anything that you guys are able to do is going to be great. Hope we get some heavy hitters in there towards the end of the finish line. But like I said, it's an ongoing campaign too. So we're not going to stop collecting money on December 22nd. That's just when our event is. So you guys will be able to. That link is going to stay up. It's allowed to stay up indefinitely. Just like the Autumn Fund was, they had a certain date that they wanted to raise a certain amount. That one still, I still see people sharing that link. That link is still where.
I'm going to pull that up actually. I'm going to pull that one up actually because it just goes to show how much this fandom has really given to AFSP with like what the goal was and how much is still going there right now. I'm going to pull this up right here.
Also, if you just want to tip me, us, that's great too. Hey, listen, everybody needs fundraising right now. My frap fund is running low, and with me without caffeine, the world is. You think Godzilla fucked up Tokyo? Me without Starbucks, that's what the world. That's what's at stake when I can't get my coffee. So there you go.
Here it is. Yeah, goal of 50,000. This is the Autumn Snyder tribute fund for AFSP. Goal $50,000, raised $438,276. I mean, and this is that's like that's almost like because we've cleared as a fandom in terms of total like AFSP donations, we've cleared 1 million. So I mean that is just phenomenal right there.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, that's we'll build another brotherhood. I mean, like I say, everybody be patient about certain things. I think in the end of the day, business will get done. I don't think anything needs to be forced. You don't see me stressing out about it anymore. I mean, I used to stress out about all this stuff, but now it's like I just worry about the brotherhood and the camaraderie. Look around whatever fandom you're here and just ask why you got involved in it, and what are the people like that are involved in it. And if it's not bringing you joy and happiness, if it's bringing you stress, then it's time to let go. And to be honest with you, being annoyed about something and being dissatisfied about something doesn't necessarily mean it needs to come bonded to you in a way that fucks up your day. So we got this. We got Robo Moon coming up. We got a whole weird year as far as pop culture goes. And like I said, I don't. When's the next DC after Aquaman? There's nothing DC until we start rolling into gun stuff.
This Joker, there's Creature Commandos, and there's Joker Folia too next year.
Yeah, and when does that get released? What month is that?
Oh, we don't have like a hard date for Creature Commandos, but Joker 2, that's next October. That's October. That's like October 5th, I think, next year.
I do not give a fuck about Creature Commandos. I'm sorry, guys. Right now, I don't. I have no reason to care about Creature Commandos. I may, you know what? Listen, he may give me one, but right now, it's obviously a part of his overall story. It means something to him, which means it means something to the overall story. But right now, since I don't have that insight, I care as much about Creature Commandos and Authority as I did prior to him announcing them. So that's different. But as far as Joker goes, that's an Oscar-worthy movie. That movie's being released. If you notice, if it's October, there you go. If it's October, anytime a movie's released late September through Christmas Day, they're prepping that. They want that in your mind. They want that fresh in your mind for Oscars. When was Joker, the original Joker, released? Do you remember? It should give you a little arrow to go back to. Because I think that one, but see, that one was an outlier too. Nobody was really, even Warner Brothers themselves, the idiot management at the time, didn't have any faith in that movie. They cost themselves a lot of money.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
$500,000. So I think when was Joker? I think Joker was released in late fall too, wasn't it?
It was 2019. Yeah, October 2019.
Yep. There you go. See, when they really, somebody at Warner Brothers made the right decision, at least as far as the release date goes, because that's when you release movies. Dune was, look at Dune. Dune was supposed to come out in that Oscar window, and that's why, like I said, I still don't understand why you would release Dune in March. I mean, as much as I want to see it like tomorrow. I am like, why wouldn't you want to give that the best shot? And a lot of those movies, especially those old people, they think in that 3-month window. And like I say, it's very rare. You got to reach back to 1991 to find a movie that wasn't released in that window of time that won Best Movie, and it was Silence of the Lambs, and it was like an all-time great. Anthony Hopkins won his first Academy Award for that. Jodie Foster won second for that. Jonathan Demme won his first and only for that, and Jonathan Demme won for Best Movie for that. The late great Jonathan Demme, who died all too young. But and Hannibal Lecter was on your screen for a total of 17 minutes, and he wins an Academy Award for Best Actor, which is amazing, and he deserved it. Actually, you could have made. I mean, you had Fisher King that year with Robin Williams, which I think to this day is Robin Williams' best movie he's ever done. But every time Robin Williams would run up against an award, he would run up against an all-time great performance. Fisher
that's true.
Awakenings was great. He was beautiful in Awakenings. Good Morning Vietnam. Every year he lost. I think he lost off to Daniel Day-Lewis when Daniel Day-Lewis was one of all-time greats. So he lost. He just ran up against somebody who had an all-time moment. It's kind of like with Robert Downey Jr. when he ran up against Heath Ledger. Yeah. But I think this year, though, I think he's going to win for Best Supporting Actor. But if you guys want to, if anybody ever, it's a trivia answer to a question nobody's ever asked me, I guess. What would I think the best Robin Williams movie is? Do the Fisher King with Jeff Bridges. Mercedes Rule actually did win that year for Best Supporting Actress. He's amazing in that movie. I love that movie. I saw that in the movie theater. So today is just an open conversation, guys. I mean, nothing dangerous for Brad to get us kicked off the internet for. Actually, you know what? We shouldn't blame Brad because it was my call. I mean, I said yes. So, and I wanted to see it, and I thought it would be cool, and I thought we had navigated the waters pretty well, but nope. But that's fine. I mean, like I said, it's going to take me a quick snippet here, and it'll be back up again because I really did enjoy that conversation that we were having. As far as like, it gave me a way to talk about the DCU in a way I could actually care about it. Now all I need is actually James Gunn to actually put that together. If that's the case, the old school, new school thing. That would be great to see if that was it. But like I said, Nicotina did more. Is your mic okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Nicotina did more to get me excited about the DCU than James Gunn has. And last I looked, Nicotina is not getting a dime from Superman Legacy. So I mean that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of conversation we can be having. I mean, like I said, I'm ready to get this new thing going. It's just like let's get it going. Let's start moving the ball in the right direction. So, all right, let's hit up the chat. See what kind of weirdness they got on a Monday morning.
Ruth says, "I get Santa before you guys. I better start. Okay.
You get he's a burglar. You realize that, right? He's breaking and injuring. Technically, he should be arrested. No, I'm just kidding. Can't arrest Santa.
You wouldn't be carrying me into Monday.
I am here to do just as much. I am here to carry you, Larry.
All right, here's a good one from Ruth. So William and Brad, after our horror chat in the stream a while back, I watched Cannibal Holocaust. I'm scared for life. I turned it off. Now I'm not sticking only to Marvel DC releases. Yeah, Cannibal Holocaust. That's a dramatic,
classic. Hey, Ruth, what I want you to do, Ruth, is I want you to rewatch it and just open your mind to happiness. No, I'm just kidding. It's a brutal movie. Listen, those movies, those exploitation movies, Cannibal Holocaust. I Eat Your Brains, and there's a double feature of cannibal. It's just like from like the mid '70s to the late '70s and early '80s. It was a lot of cannibal movies going on. It was just is what people were going for, and so that was in that genre. But it's not for everybody. Just the fact that we're talking about people being eaten, and Cannibal Holocaust is even more brutal than those because it's not just talking about people getting eaten. If cannibalism is like the least of the horror that goes on in that movie, those two rape scenes are bad. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, they kill the animal. That's what turned me off." I'm like, you see them raping a teenage girl very graphically. You see it all. You see them raping a woman and very graphically, and you see gang rape, the cannibals gang rape her, and then they eat her. It's the cannibalism is kind of like misleading. When it says Cannibal Holocaust, that's misleading. That it just sounds like there's a bunch of people, cooking people and eating them up. That's very misleading. That movie's is disturbing for other reasons, and they really never. I think that's a lot of the shock that went into it, because when you say Cannibal Holocaust, you're thinking about a bunch of people fighting off cannibals, right? That's not the case. It's very brutal, it's very graphic, but you know what? It's an art form unto itself. So yeah, you should be scared. You're right. You're right to be You're right to be disturbed by it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was banned in certain territories.
It was banned for it was banned, and the sexual content is what got in the next rating for a while. Because like I said, I don't need you guys to go watch it if you're not into that, or if that disturbs you. But these scenes between the two rape scenes are brutal, and they're brutal. And the one tribal girl that gets raped is very, very young. Is very, very young, and that's disturbing all by itself. And then they both end up murdered in very brutal fashion. I mean, because the girl is disowned by her tribe because of what happens to her. And like I said, it's just a brutal movie, and they hold nothing back. There's no filter. So, and next one.
Aaron, officially, the big fella arrives at your house first. I think she's talking about Santa.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to say, we're not talking about some just random stranger coming down your roof. If so, you might want to. Yeah. Can Santa even go to Australia? He might get eaten by something.
Brad William, where do we find out the extra releases? I think he's talking about the stuff you were mentioning earlier about the watch party.
Oh, for you're talking about for the 22nd?
Yeah.
You're gonna find out here, and you'll find out on all of our social media. So start paying attention tomorrow. Yeah, donate. Go in a good cause. Like I said, I will say this over and over again. I hate to sound repetitive, but there's not a disease out there, mental, physical, or otherwise, that has not been brought along and lessened, even cancer, by research. AIDS is, like I said, I grew up in the AIDS era. I grew up when the era where if you got AIDS, it was basically say goodbye, plan all your stuff because you weren't going to be around. Because once you got HIV, it was back then it was only a matter of time before you got age-related complex ARC, and that was when your immune system started breaking down, and all these other things that your immune system would have fought off can't fight it off. You started getting cancer, you started getting legions, you started getting all the stuff that a normal human being can fight off. The immunodeficiency, it just killed you. I mean, Eazy-E in 1995, Eazy-E, born on September 7th, by the way, found out he had AIDS. He was dead 3 weeks later, and that's it. And then there's people like Magic Johnson who, because of this research, has fought it off for 30 years now. Magic Johnson was diagnosed the same month that Freddie Mercury died of AIDS. The same month that Freddie Mercury died of AIDS, 31 years ago or so, November 24th, 1991. Magic Johnson, 3 weeks earlier, November 7th, I will never forget that date, because he had to retire from the Lakers, was diagnosed with HIV. And at that time, we thought Magic Johnson was basically a condemned man. And then it just further reinforced it when 3 weeks later, Freddie Mercury's gone. Freddie Mercury came out on a Saturday, November 23rd. And like I said, I know these dates because I lived them. November 23rd, he had a press release, basically revealing what a lot of people had already been speculating for years, is that he had AIDS. And the next day he was gone. That was it.
Yeah.
That's what AIDS was back then. Now, in the 30 some odd years since then, since the day that Magic Johnson stood up on the press conference in LA and said he had to retire due to the HIV virus, and all the fear and all the things like that, Karl Malone didn't want to be on the same court because he was afraid he could catch it. All that stuff, all the ignorance that was surrounding AIDS. With research and education, not only did the stigma get relieved, not completely gone, but it wasn't what it was. You got Ryan Adams, I think it was the kid who had hemophilia. He got a blood transfusion. He died. They wouldn't let him in school. That kind of stuff, that kind of fear came from not just hateful people, but scared people. Those people were scared because they didn't know. They didn't know because there was no education. There was no education because there was no research. But then what happened? Pockets opened up. Checkbooks opened up. They fought AIDS like it was a villain on a boss level on a video game. And in the 30 years since, now AIDS, one of the places in my plaza, the Nunnery, one of the things that they do is they make it easy for you to attain treatment for AIDS. Or a nonprofit. And with that treatment, your life is indefinite. As long as you take that treatment, not only is your life indefinite, but you're undetectable. You can no longer spread it. That. You know what that did? That was donations. That was research. That was education. Same thing applies here. Same thing applies with AFSV. There's a stigma that surrounds mental health. There's a stigma that surrounds suicide. It makes it worse because those people who are going through this stuff don't have anyone to go to. Because for so long, and I can tell you this straight from dealing with people in the Army, is that no one knew how to handle it. No one knew what to look for. No one knew how to approach it. And that includes the people who were going through it. So, how did that get better? Research. I mean, the Army especially in wartime, put hundreds of millions of dollars into mental health research and suicide prevention. Because it was basically, we train these guys up, we send them into these places, and then they come back and this happens to them. So, that research is there. There's a lot of tools out there. 988. Things like that make it accessible. Because how did we come to those conclusions? We came to those conclusions because of research, because of finding out what works, what doesn't work, what's most effective. That's research. And what you're donating to right now literally is it's just the same as any disease that you fight over a long period of time. Research and education, and that's where this money is going to. So if you can, great. I understand if you can't, but if you cannot, like Brad said, spread the word, share the link. Somebody out there isn't having a tough time. Somebody out there does have some room in their finances, and as long as you're spreading it, blindly. You're just like when you spread 988, you don't know who you could be helping. You don't know who you could be making aware of our fundraiser. And by proxy, like I said, maybe 10, 15 years from now, we're talking about, people tackling these mental illnesses like they tackle just about everything else. And wouldn't you want to be in the same place with suicide prevention as we are with AIDS now? Granted, you don't want HIV. Don't get me wrong. But if you were to getting it in 2023 and being able to live a long, healthy, natural life and getting it in 1991, where it's basically the Grim Reaper is packing your bags for you, is a hell of a difference. And that's the difference that research has made. Princess Diana helped take away some of the stigma. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Her and Elton John did a great job with that.
And actually, Aaron has a little bit of an answer to the Santa Claus question earlier. Santa's fine here in Australia. Nothing will eat him. He has superpowers. I think Santa's an immortal metahuman.
Well, haven't we established that everything in the outback is also immortal metahuman? I mean, in order to be able to survive out there,
the outback is the danger room for Santa.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's going to replace the ranger with kangaroo. The dingo ate Santa. Yeah, I'll remember that at Cry in the Dark. That was a legendary story in Australia about a lady who claimed that dingoes ate her baby. And, Meryl Streep played her.
Buffalo Bill. I think he means Buffalo Bill. Deserves the award for the most with lines like "I did me hard."
Where did that come from? Is it? You know what? Fuck you, man. Pull that back up. Pull it back up. Look at his name.
Woke 1000.
I want to be laughing because it makes me cough. But did he have another comment? Oh, because he brought up Silence of the Lamb. Yeah. That scene is so creepy, where he tucks his thing and starts dancing. It's a iconic scene, but it's like, oh, what are you doing? But that guy that played Buffalo Bill, he played the cop on Monk. And I'm like, I can't imagine. That's how good an actor that guy was. The same guy who was a lockjaw cop on Monk, just a straightforward, by-the-book guy. He's that guy. And it's like, wow. That's what I mean when I say actors can just be anything they want to be sometimes, man. But, yeah, Silence of the Lambs, man. Oh, that speech he gives.
We just got a donation, like, as we were speaking.
Where we at? Let's see. Oh, hey. Cool. We're at 25,535. Thank you.
You'll love who it was from.
Yeah.
I think you got to refresh it.
Let's see. Oh, jeez. I know who this is. Hey, you know what, guys? I will take whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. If we got to do a Howard the Duck watch along again on the basis that you guys help us get to our goal, I will watch Good Burger with you guys. If we help us reach our goal, it's that important. All right. But yeah, Silence of the Lamb is great. Yeah, we already did. we started off the show that way. All right. That's
well, it's your fault too now.
Well, actually, technically, yeah, it was both our faults, but. It's not the end of the world.
He's very proud of watching Cannibal Holocaust.
Folk just wants to ruin your life.
Yeah.
He's not happy that you saw it. He's happy that you're traumatized by it. He adds you to one of his box of souls now that he collects. He's Krampus. I think Fourth 1000 is just Krampus, and I'm waiting for that to be his name. So now we'll do a little 4,000 for one another. Oh, jeez. Oh my goodness.
Let's see, which iconic 80s martial artist did you want to challenge or win a fight? It was probably Philip Ree, the best franchise, because I was all about the best when I was in Taekwondo, when I was in high school. That's where I kind of started. And best of the best was so close to my heart. Philip Ree was like a god to me when I was doing Taekwondo. So yeah, I would love to, Philip Ree. He was always a big hero. I'd love to interview him. Would absolutely love to interview Philip Ree. But yeah. Spar him, that'd be great too. Because he'd get my butt, I'm sure. But yeah, he was always amazing. He had this, his fighting style was so different because he was combining Taekwondo and Hapkido, So he was, had kicks and strikes mixed with all these throws he would like associate with Steven Seagal. So yeah, Philip Ree. And they probably would pick Philip Ree. He's always a big hero of mine. And yeah, if you haven't seen the best movies, give him a look because they are awesome. He is fantastic in them. One of the best ambassadors of Korean martial arts. Ban list now. Okay, sounds good, Ruth. Rolling to get back, I'm gonna go through some of the comments here.
What's on the ban list? I saw something on scroll on the ban list. She putting Cannibal Holocaust on the ban list?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's on a lot of people's ban list. Yeah. And like I said, it's not just like I Spit on Your Grave is not for everybody. I Spit on Your Grave in the genre of movies that a lot of movies I've watched is considered a classic. It's considered a classic, but for what it is, it's really rough to watch. It's a woman. It's for the most part, it's a woman being brutalized. Obviously, it's revenge. She gets her revenge, and her revenge is some of the things that happens. And I Spit on Your Grave to the guys who deserve it. By the way, it's still hard to watch, man. There's I will say the bathtub scene. Like I said, I can watch a lot. I can endure a lot, but when you start messing with the eyes that she does there, and you start messing with the twig and berries, I start getting squeamish in my chair. So yeah, and it's brutal. Like I said, the word nasty is a kind word for brutal, because those rape scenes are not refined, by the way. They were just told. I think the director just told, you know what, you guys, you fuck her and you resist, and we're just gonna film, and that's all it was. It was just animalistic, and it's like,
yeah,
there's just no refinement to that movie. But there's some people that just consider that, and like I said, for what it is, if you're into the genre of those movies, it's. But like I said, you are not wrong for being disturbed by it. There are people who like it that are disturbed by it. So
first time I saw it, it's like I felt dirty after I saw it.
Yeah, all those movies of that era, the revenge of the woman era. That's what a lot of it was called. Like I said, I Spit on Your Grave was really. I Spit on Your Grave got an X rating, and you know what? I'm not for censorship, but I understand why I Spit on Your Grave, even because that was in the 70s. That was in the 70s, and it was too much for the 70s. But once again, I mean, that made her career. Camilla Parker, I mean, I got a chance to meet her too. She still shows up at shows in support of that movie. So, and that's
I think place can find AIDS is in Star Wars writing. Not sure I get that, but I'm sure it's politically incorrect. Whatever the hell he's alluding to.
You've become the Andrew Dice Clay of our stream. I'm talking 1988 Andrew Dice Clay too, not the older, softer version.
Oh, here's a little back and forth. Fourth, pretty edgy. Just turned 14. In 2 months.
14. See, he's ready for all this. He knows this shit's coming. That's hilarious.
A little bit more highlighting donations due from Larry here. Also, nonprofits need donations to actually pay for their work and their workers. It's definitely contributing to the process as well as research. Yeah.
Those people they got to eat. That guy that's sitting on the other line in 988, he's got to eat. He can't be starving and saving lives. He's got to eat. He's got to get gas in his car. He's got to pay his bills. 100% correct, Larry.
Cool. Too old the birthday cake and a party, or are you too cool for that fourth?
Oh, they're piling up on your ass. Hey, that is not our direction. All right.
He's spoiling Cannibal Holocaust now. I'll spoil it. Third down, the original crew fabricates all their stories. They terrorize the tribes and make it look like other tribes are war, but the footage reveals the tribes.
Yeah, Yeah, this is not a spoiler. This is 50 years old. I mean, yeah, it's a tough one, dude.
That's a win, Brad. That's the best roles. Yes, it does. Second one's my favorite. Second one's one of my all-time favorites. I fucking love Best of the Best too. Aaron says I haven't seen Best of the Best in years. Yeah, that whole series is just one of my all-time favorite martial arts series, and I love them all, but like Best of the Best 2, that's one of my just all-time favorite ones ever. I was hoping Ruth would be my gore bunny. We could have graduated watching Terrifier 2. I mean, you get a PhD in gore. You get several from Terrifier 2.
I don't think Ruth. Don't watch that movie. If you had some problems with Cannibal Holocaust, I don't think Terrifier 2 is appropriate for you.
Oh no, I've seen her on Twitter actually hyping up the third one coming up, so I think she has seen them. So,
but okay, maybe the tone of Cannibal Holocaust is what got it. But there's, like I said, it's a different type of movie, so you could be in a Terrifier and probably not be affected by it.
Brand, we're gonna find the additional Red Moon screens. Can't find it. Yeah, look, I'll pull them up here because there were some additional ones that were added.
They're right on their Twitter site.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up their Twitter right now.
And it's like they skipped around here, like here, not here, here.
Yeah, right. Anywhere that Brad and William Arnett.
I'm not, come on, you don't want to come to Vegas? It's Vegas. Come on, the NBA was just here. UFC's here. Super Bowl's going to be here. Come on, Rebel Moon, add me.
Okay. So here's all the added screenings right there, Spider-Man. So if you are in Austin, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Detroit, Kansas City, Minneapolis, Philadelphia, Phoenix, or San Diego.
Okay, yeah. Well, please hit the like and subscribe button, guys, so that we can make up for the all the likes and subscribes we didn't get on Friday because of Brad. Yeah, Phoenix. I can. Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, I have. There's Human Gizzard, there's Tetsuo the Iron Man, there's all kinds of stuff. Tokyo Gore Police, dude. You want to fry your brain and flip it over and fry it again? Tokyo Gore Police is some bonkers shit, dude. It is just some crazy mutated monster movie alien shit. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It's a great movie, by the way, but it'll blow your mind. Hey, Tekka, have you seen Tokyo Gore Police? I don't know, because I'm assuming if you saw Human Guinea Pig, you probably have.
Well, Spider-Man lucking out here. You're in the Phoenix Metro, so you'll be able to drop in on that. Right. His nephew's back on Minneapolis too, so yeah. More people seeing Rebel Moon theatrically other than me.
Yeah, and like I said, who knows? Maybe they'll add another one. I don't know. Like I said, I always plan for there to be none. Because like I've always said that everybody, and I got into a back and forth with one of my critic buddies who was like, he's thinking that Netflix should do a better job of releasing, putting their movies in theaters and promoting them. I'm like, I told him, the thing I tell everybody is like, that's not what they sell. It's not, they're different, he said, well, they could do it a little bit better. I'm like, yeah, but if what they do is to sell their streaming service and they do that great, then that's their bread and butter. I mean, you don't want to, you want to change things up to the, why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal. That's just me. That's what I think. All right, next one.
Heard of Tokyo Gore Police? Recommend it to me.
Well, yeah, because if you watch The Human Guinea Pig, then your mind is ready for Tokyo Gore Police. It's bonkers, dude. It's much more crazier. Yeah. Tokyo Gore Police is some bullshit. It's hard to explain it. You have to. I can't describe to you the shit that goes on in that movie, and I would ruin it for you. You need to be like, no fucking way. That's what you're gonna say the whole movie. Oh, what? What is that? Is that what the fuck? Yeah, that's the whole movie. That's funny. And its name. It is aptly named.
They'll probably put those up on like Fandango or
all you gotta do is
Google Lister. They got times for it.
You just Google Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. I almost said Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, and your showtimes and your zip code. It'll give it to you. They did the same thing for -1. That's how I found out where it was showing.
I've seen Workplace Machine Girl, Tetsuo Machine, Sushi Girl, Call Me by Your Name. Okay.
Sushi Girl, Call Me by Your Name, not the Timothy Chalamet version. Machine Girl was okay. Machine Girl was good. Like I said, back in 2010 to about 2013, I showed every single Tokyo, every foreign Asian movie you could find. And at that time, Netflix wasn't what Netflix is now, and streaming wasn't what it is now. I was the only one that was showing Tattoo of the Iron Man. I was the only one that was showing Versus. I was the only one that was showing Ichi the Killer. I should have showed that movie. I was the only one that was showing I Saw the Devil. We were the only ones, and we were showing them strictly with subtitles and everything. And once it became readily available, we got out of that market. But man, it was fun. It was fun to explore those movies. All right, next one.
Got here. He says Google isn't being helpful right now. I mean, they might not have set times for it, show times for any of the Rebel movie showings in the cities yet.
Yeah, you still got to watch. It usually does, though, because I know for -1, I found out, well ahead of time. But once again, -1 was, it's a different studio. So,
see, Versus. Yeah, Versus. If you haven't seen Versus, I love Versus.
Yeah. Especially if you like Highlander.
Yeah. Yeah, Versus, it's basically a Highlander meets Evil Dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, the lead guy in that, Tak Sakaguchi, he went on to do this thing called, the martial arts guy me talking here, called Reborn in 2016, which there's two ways I describe that. I say that's A, that's like a Japanese John Wick, and B, it's probably the closest thing we'll ever get to the Raid 3. So Reborn, also, if you haven't seen that, give that a look. Yeah, but that's not really horror stuff. But Versus, yeah, that's you're talking about Japanese horror. Yeah, Versus, you definitely should give that a look. At, like I said, Highlander meets Evil Dead. Say we need to stream Undefeatable.
Maybe.
William, when are we gonna watch the 90s violent into Gotcha Man?
Oh shit, we did bring that up, dude. We actually watched a little bit of that. I don't know if you were here when we pulled that up.
I don't think I was. No.
Yeah, I pulled up. Somebody, I think Larry or somebody showed it to me, and we bought it up. Yeah, because we were talking about, because I grew up on GeForce, but there was a version in the '90s that was much more violent that they brought out, and I took a look at it. Remind me about that, guys. Like I said, I got a lot on the plate right now, but I would love to do something. There's just so much time in a day. There's only so much time in a day for me to pull these off, so I would try.
Yeah, I mean, we're still backed up on our Monarch stuff, and that really
Monarch and Doctor Who because I've been feeling like shit and then busy feeling like shit is what I've been. So,
oh yeah. Oh, here's a good one. How about 88-man 60s cartoon inspired RoboCop? Oh, I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, you got me there, Azteca.
Is it as violent as RoboCop? Because if it is, it sounds awesome.
Well, given the time it was released, probably for its time, maybe.
Spidey, I thought it was called Ichi, but yeah, it's awesome. More indie than Ichi the Killer. It's same actor, but different director. I think he's talking about Ichi's, Ichi Zero here.
Yeah, because I think Mike was Ichi. So.
They do not say fourth.
A lot. You know what, fourth? You're in the minority, I guess. A lot of people like it. So
yeah, the responses to that has been very, it's been very positive. Yeah, it's very, just like with everything Godzilla, right? It seems like it's probably the most fun time to be a Godzilla fan in a really long time right now.
Yeah, we got Godzilla versus X coming out. Godzilla X kind of coming out. And, even though people are shitting on it right now because they don't like the trailer, I think it's going to do the same thing as Kong versus Godzilla did. So, which was make a lot of money.
Had you played Kakihara and Ichi was in Survival Style 5 too?
Haven't seen that one.
Yeah, neither. Let's see what else we got here. You just asked. Yeah, have you seen Survival Style 2? I think you just said you hadn't.
Have not.
Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar with that. You might need to give me a little bit of a background on that, Larry. Let me know when Godzilla shows up in this time story about Father Strange and called Monarch.
But of course, it's not called Godzilla Monarch. It's not about him. He's in it, but it's not entirely about him. It's about Monarch.
Have you seen Godzilla -1 yet, Fourth? Because that's also got a lot of human interest story in that.
Yeah, but you're gonna get plenty of monsters. From what I've heard, this next Legendary movie has extended fight scenes and just them fighting, and I think the Godzilla has become so diverse that there's certain people want different things out of Godzilla, and I think right now is the perfect time that you're going to get all of it.
Yeah, I agree. And as Ichi fans, we can take a moment to appreciate and applaud the Kakihara actor Asano for being in Thor and also playing Raiden. Yeah, Tadanobu Asano. Yeah, I know you're talking about there. He's actually, I was pretty good as Raiden actually in Mortal Kombat.
Okay, he's in 2 movies I have zero regard for other than Ichi. Okay.
I think he was which one? He was one of the Warriors 3 in the Thor movies. He was Hogan. I think he was. It was Hogan of the Warriors 3 in the Thor movies. And then then Ragnarok. I mean, they all get killed off in 5 minutes when they show up. So,
like yeah, and then Raiden. Yeah, never mind. Next.
all right. Man, sorry, South. I was still seeing Japanese movie. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'll have to look that up.
One of these days, I'm going to have to take a month off and just watch it.
Yeah, Raiden, the cyborg who fought the Patriots. Fourth, or Spider-Man. Spider-Man, he's got a much drier sense of humor than Fourth.
All right.
He's kind of like the good cop between Spider-Man and Fourth. It's like good cop, bad cop. I'm just happy he's getting bigger in America. You talking about Godzilla? Or Tadanobu Asano? I think it's either way. I mean,
that applies.
See, Wicked City classic. I don't think I've seen that either. Oh yeah, he was talking about Asano. Okay, good. And he's of course going to be back as Raiden in Mortal Kombat 2. We need some badass samurai movies, one that don't care about Oscars. I mean, we talk about Oscar when like Last Samurai. I mean, that's because I've always loved that. I always put that up with Gladiator.
There's not a lot of samurai movies, period, that care about Oscars or otherwise. I mean, it's just not a very popular genre these days. It's just not.
Yeah.
Samurai movies just don't translate in modern America anymore. I mean, I'm not saying that'll be forever, but when's the last time you saw a big, other than Tom Cruise heading one? What's the last time you saw a big samurai movie that took America by hold? It just doesn't. It's a tough genre to bring over. It's a methodical genre that I don't think we're ready for.
By the way, that totally would not get made today, Last Samurai, because it would have the whole Tom Cruise being the white dude in feudal Japan. I mean, there would be editorials about that all over the place. That would not get made today.
Yeah, you'd have the people. How come it always has to be the white savior type? But yeah, I'm surprised Shogun is getting done yet. So.
Cruise might be an absolute nut, but he's got no hesitation to put his neck on the line for your entertainment.
Yeah, or his credibility on the line to back you and keep you from losing your job if he thinks somebody he is fond of is about to get fired for some bullshit. Like I said, there's only a handful of people that can walk down to a job and tell you do not fire that employee of yours. That was even me. And he did that in the case of that one agent of his. So, and that, to be honest with you, probably the only client she needs is him.
Yeah. You got conflicting opinions on Last Samurai here from Fourth and from Larry. So, okay.
Well, yeah, like I said, a lot of American audiences just don't connect with those movies. It's just not what we record.
The Samurai scene Sucker Punch is great. Yeah, it is.
I haven't seen that movie in like literally 10 years.
Actually, when I interviewed Michael Lambert a while back, because I interviewed him for his work he was fight coordinator on The Flash, and also on Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I interviewed him before the Flash was coming out, and he expressed, obviously, he's a big anime fan, and he expressed he spoke very fondly of Zack, and he said, yeah, when Zack did Sucker Punch, he said that samurai scene specifically, he said, yeah, Zack, he brought anime to life in live action with Sucker Punch, so he was really enamored with that, and yeah, just nothing but great things to say about his work with Zack and work with Andy Muschietti. But yeah, he was very impressed with Sucker Punch as well. Has anyone here seen the Lost Boys sequel? I have not. No.
I'm not going to. Yeah, so those are I just had no interest. I mean, Lost Boys was great for me, but there wasn't anything about Lost Boys that said, that there was more story to tell. I've read the Frog stuff and all that, comics and stuff that's come out, but yeah, I haven't. I just never had the interest to go to see anything beyond that.
Remember Sucker Punch? You revisit that one? Yeah, that's and of course Zack is he wants to get his the Snyder cut of that released at some point. So hopefully that'll happen in the. That'd be great if as part of the mending of fences with Warner Brothers, that's one byproduct of that.
Well, right, yeah, because like I said, the people that are there right now, that there should be no damaged fences at all between those two, because everybody that's there now is a replacement for everybody that did them dirty. So I'd see them doing business of some sort or some way often, because of the fact that, like I said, everybody who caused all these problems has been jettisoned. So I think they'll be fine.
Ninja Scroll is what needs a live action replica. I have not seen Ninja Scroll, so I don't
think. That's one of the few that I have seen. I think we got to be careful when it comes to what certain things of that genre will necessarily work on American audiences. I don't know if all of it will. I think that's why you don't see a lot of this stuff, is because I think there's a concern that what works in one genre and one platform may not work in another, and I think Ninja Scroll may be one of those ones that may not be widely accepted. In order for them to put the kind of money into it that people want them to be and want it to look like, then you'd have to be able to justify that investment. I don't know if they would with Ninja Scroll. Could be wrong.
I think actually Spider-Man, I was going to follow up that. Ask you about the Ninja Scroll sequel, Ninja Resurrection, right? Fourth. He says he saw it, Ninja Scroll 11 years old. So yeah, you guys are bigger experts on that than we are.
Yeah, it's just does it translate into the type of movie? What kind of movie are you wanting to make out of that, though? You know what I mean, on the big screen. What are you willing to translate? It's a different thing.
It's worse if you may enjoy the violent subject matter fourth. Okay, sounds good.
I mean, if you're just going to do it on streaming, maybe under a certain budget, yeah, but I don't know about putting it in the box office.
I know, is it Lost Boys? Soundtrack's one of the best.
Yeah, especially the opening song is one, especially.
Is all it needs Donnie Darko? I think it is, yeah.
The 80s was a very diverse decade, so.
Shogun FX original series coming in February, starring Hiroyuki Sanada, who portrays Scorpion in the 2021 Mortal Kombat film trailer. Looks good in feudal Japan.
I remember watching Shogun, the miniseries, when I was a kid.
Actually, I'm gonna look that up right now because I did like him a lot as Scorpion. Of course, I've seen him in a lot of good stuff. And of course, he was just recently in John Wick 4. So yeah, I was aware of the Shogun.
My thing is, I don't watch a lot of martial arts movies, so you guys got me there. I'm like, who is that? Okay, yeah. I think I know who that is.
You want to talk to the expert on that? I'm the guy for that.
Yeah, I see some of it, and but I'm not a hardcore guy on it. I mean, I'll I don't steer from it, but it's not like There's a lot of stuff that you guys brought up I had never ever heard. Like I said, I heard of the Raid through you.
Glad to be. I'm glad to be the vector for that. And I'm telling you, it's like everybody, when you see it, you will agree. Zach watched the Raid movies and said, "I want to do that." That with a Batman fight scene.
That's good.
Brad, did you see? No, I have not. Actually, I didn't really get that much into the Tomorrowverse of DC animation. Perfectly honest.
Same here.
Yeah, they didn't really grab me as much as the preceding DC animated universe, but they had some great animated movies. So now, William Marsh starts journey with the raid.
Well, I've seen movies. It's just like there's a lot of them out there, and a lot of these actors and actresses that you guys are talking about. I'd probably seen them on other stuff. I just didn't know about their other stuff that they did. Because, like I said,
I'm thinking, like, where would you have seen like Eco recently? Eco Ways, like two of the guys like Yayan and Regan and Cheshire are from on. They were in John Wick 3 and Eco. Well, you haven't seen it yet, but and I wouldn't recommend you do. He was in the bad guy in Expendables 4, and that was crushing.
Yeah, and I've seen a John Wick movie, so.
Oh God, Expendables 4.
I told you that franchise is the franchise is done. I mean, you just got to know when things are done.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea, the fact, even if it's done, you would think they would try to do even an attempted comeback would come off better than this one did.
Well, no, but if you start from the premise, if you don't realize you're done from step one, then you're going to get the appropriate results. I don't think there was any saving that movie. I think that movie was probably on the page. It's just sometimes you got as much out of a good idea as you could possibly get, and then there's just no more left to give. And you got to be able to recognize that, or else you end up with Expendables 4. Yeah. Or movies that.
Oh yeah, this pissed me off too. Spider-Man when the Eco, Yayan, and Cheshire they were part of the Kanji Club in Force Awakens. So they played that up. That was like a big announcement when you said like the dudes in the raid movies are going to be in Force Awakens, and they show up. They're there with their guns for a couple of minutes, and then the big squid comes out of nowhere and eats them. So yeah, that was a letdown.
Hey, you made it though. You got on TV or screen.
Yeah, I would put the Lost Boys soundtrack up there with the Crow soundtrack. Yeah, probably. The Crow soundtrack is legendary.
Ooh, okay. You're still my favorite Aussie. I can't do that. Dude. The Lost Boys soundtrack is really good. Don't get me wrong. But when you're talking about the Crow soundtrack, you're talking, in my opinion, by far one of the greatest soundtracks ever made. Arguably the the greatest ever made. Let's see on that soundtrack. Hold on. Music. All right. Soundtrack. Good Times. Jimmy Barnes and NXS. Lost in the Shadows. Lou Gramm. Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Roger Daltrey. Elton John. I mean that's a remake. People Are Strange. Cry Little Sister. Cry Little Sister was the opening song. That one is actually pretty good. That's a great tone setter. Power Play Eddiness. I Still Believe. Tom Capello. Beauty Has Her Way. This is a good soundtrack. This was a really good. It was a great. I'll say great soundtrack. But The Crow was a trend-setting masterpiece. That was just, even if Brandon Lee hadn't passed away, that soundtrack, people would have probably found out about the movie through that soundtrack. If Brandon Lee doesn't die and the movie goes on to probably bomb, the redeeming success of it would have been that soundtrack, because of that soundtrack at that time. It didn't just have a couple songs on it, a few songs. It had era-changing songs. It had, Stone Temple Pilots was on there, 90s. So you had the bands that were driving the greatest sound of that time at the time on there. And I mean, like I said, not to knock the Lost Boys, I just think that the Crow soundtrack is is up here somewhere, and everybody else starts at around here. And I guess you, depending on what your error is, I guess. I mean, but once again, there's no wrong answer there. I just can't agree with it on that one. Where I put the Crow soundtrack. I mean, we've actually featured the Crow soundtrack on its own, aside from the movie. We featured the comic book story, we featured the movie, and we featured the soundtrack because the soundtrack is a beast all of its own. But you know what? Hey, music is subjective. It's how you feel. It's how you feel. No, we don't have to comment. You don't have to comment. You know what? You can put the Lost Boys up there at number one if you want to, because it's how you feel when you listen to it. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. How does this music? What place does this music take you when you hear it? And that's going to be different for everyone, every individual. For me, just the time that The Crow was the soundtrack was released, the music of the time, everything that was going on, the scene, the alternative music scene, the post grunge scene that was just right there for it. So for me, it's going to be The Crow. But if it's the Lost Boys, if the Lost Boys is number one for you, that is not a wrong answer. That is not a wrong answer. For me personally, that's just like, wow, I think a Crow soundtrack, and it's like I start thinking like that legendary Paul Bunyan status with
Spider-Man.
I am getting. We are getting near the end of the stream because I did take some stuff that's going to put me out, and it's the Midnight Express. We're only supposed to go an hour anyway, so yeah. So soundtrack, yeah, it's a great one. But like I said, if you look at Lost Boys soundtrack, you got some heavy hitters on there. You got songs written by Elton John on that album. Don't Let the Sun. That's a song he made famous with George Michael back in the Motown 25th anniversary timeline. So there's some heavy hitters on there. Lou Graham's a fucking legend. Oh, by the way, wholly out of the blue, best Killer song. Killers is one of my favorite bands. We're gonna cover one of theirs stuff pretty soon. There is a song that they did called Tranquilize with him. It's an awesome song, but I hate to say this because, like I said, Lou Graham is an all-time great. The version that they do live without Lou Graham, because it's Brandon Flowers doing the voiceover for him because Lou Graham passed. It's Tranquilize may be the Killer's best song, and Lou Graham is one of the ones who co-wrote that. Just off the talk. All right, the next one. Go ahead and highlight Woke, even though I don't. I'm not sure.
I knew this one was going to really get to you. Crow is a good soundtrack. Well, you guys in the movie compared to song Lost Boys, People Are Strange really opens up that movie.
Okay, no, that's true. That's true. He's right, 100%. How, as it applies to the actual movie scene itself, The Crow does not do that. That's what I mean. You didn't have to see the movie The Crow for it to be the great soundtrack, because The Big Empty, which is a song that really, really busted the ceiling open for Stone Temple Pilots, is literally playing for like 2 seconds while they're driving crazy through the streets, and you can hear it in the background. Yet that song is how they marketed the crap out of that movie. When they released it on video, every time you heard The Crow for 6 or 7 years after that, you heard that song. So yeah, he's 100% right. And yes, the music in Lost Boys, as far as the actual movie goes, as far as what it pertains to and what its soundtrack, does apply more evenly and more effectively and with a purpose. So that's 100% right, actually. Next one.
Yeah, I would think before compromise and would say both would be number one.
Hey, your number one is right, and my number one is right. And you know what? You may catch me on a day. I think a lot of it is because I was there. That was my first year as a business owner. I was absorbing this alternative atmosphere here in Vegas. A city that's not like LA where I came from, where it was all developing from the ground up. We had everything in LA. When I came back from the Army, I came here to Vegas, and radio stations were just grasping it and blasting it out. The videos are just, MTV was in a special place with 120 minutes, Buzzbin, Liquid Television. All this was coming together at the same time this movie was coming out. So I think for me, just standing in the moment, that's a bias for me, which is like, that's okay. That's it. Like I said, it's all about how it makes you feel. All songs are subjective, because you may hear a song and it may be a shitty song to somebody else, but it takes you back to a moment that just is a pivotal moment in your life or something like that, or you just got caught up in the atmosphere. A lot of music is just like I always say when it comes to movies and music. A lot of the effect of either one is the time and place in which they were released. And when you try to remake or replicate those things, that's where a lot of those things fail because you can never take that energy that was there and then and bring it here and now. Not all the time, you know. But yeah, no, you do not have to compromise. You have every right to believe for your reasons that is up there with The Crow. I just was like, I just put The Crow in an atmosphere that just can't be touched. That's a me thing.
Yeah, I see that. Fort says only great music moment in The Crow is Eric Draven. I think no, that's a great guitar solo though. His guitar solos, both of them actually, those are some of the most iconic moments in The Crow.
Yeah, if you're going on the criteria of how the music is applied in the movie, then yeah, you're right. But that's not the criteria necessarily. You know, a sound score does that probably more than music. The music motion picture soundtracks do. But like I said, just the release of the Crow album would have been enough to get people into the movie, even if Brandon Lee didn't pass away. You wouldn't have even known about that. But dude, that soundtrack sold a lot, and it was about creating an atmosphere. And a lot of what the Crow soundtrack did, even though that it did not apply evenly throughout the movie in each moment, when you listen to the music again, even after you've seen the movie, or if you listen to the soundtrack before you are automatically primed to be in the place that David Poirier means you to be in. That atmosphere, those songs, when you think about that movie, if you listen to the songs after the movie, you know, you automatically, the movie, even though it didn't happen at the movie, that sound frames that movie. No matter what time you listen to it, when you listen to it, those songs are associated with that movie, you know, one way or another. So yeah, but I can agree throughout the actual cinematic event itself. No, it doesn't apply.
And of course, Spider-Man has his one locked in the chamber here. Brad hadn't asked in a while when Sci-Fi Center and Michael J. White happening under your yeah, whenever the opportunity, you know, I mean, I'm gonna hope. I mean, if we can get certain people with Rebel Moon, you know, on our upcoming event, you know, I'm hoping that raises our profile, you know, as a YouTube up and comers. So that might, because again,
right now, understand where we are at. Understand where Brad even is more than me, but where I'm at, where the Sci-Fi Center Live and all our channels at, we're not at the bottom of the totem pole. We're still waiting to be being carved out of the tree. We're still the raw wood that will become the bottom of the totem pole someday. So
yeah, but to be fair, Zack Snyder himself, you know, about a week or two ago, he did like chop a little bit of the bark off. So
yeah, he made it to where it looks like something you would put at the bottom of a totem pole now. So now we're one step closer. But Lost Highway, yeah, Lost Highway has a great soundtrack. Yeah, I think we went over the Lost Highway soundtrack. That was another one. Lost Highway was equally good songs. I think Lost Highway you sound better than both The Crow and Lost Boys in the movie. Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, but that does not necessarily make one a better soundtrack. That just means because the music is what makes the soundtrack. What you're talking about is correct. It's how it is applied. What movie does a better job of applying it to the moment? That's a totally different. That's a totally different judgment, in my opinion. The music itself and how it makes you feel about the association to the movie. Even though the Big Empty is only in the movie for about less than a minute, it is with this sound that associates. When you pull up the commercials for The Crow, when it went really big, it plays more in the trailer that they put on TV than it does in the movie. But it did its job. Each of these soundtracks did their job for their movie, you know. So I understand what you're saying, and I agree, but I still don't think that takes away from either of them. They each did their job in bringing you to the moment to appreciate the movie at any given time, whether it was before, during, or after when you saw the movie. All right, next one.
Yes, it did have a great soundtrack. Godzilla 98.
Yeah, there'll be no shelter here. Frontline is everywhere. I love that song.
The Wallflower.
Yeah,
that's one of the Wallflowers. That's I actually heard their cover of Heroes before I heard that before I heard the David Bowie original of Heroes. So that was how I discovered that song.
a lot of people did, and there's the absolute, and no disrespect to David Bowie, you are a great, your legend speaks for itself. The greatest performance of Heroes is by Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel, he did a live version of it, and he recorded a version of it, and it's the one that's on Stranger Things. Yeah, Peter Gabriel's version of Heroes is exquisite, and in my opinion, it's the best version of that song.
Let's see what else there. Larry, Lost Highway uses the song Justice League where Flash saves Iris better. I want you to get that there.
Oh, are you talking about Song of the Sirens?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lost Highway. You like how it,
no, the song that he's talking about would be the Song of the Siren, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you how it's implemented in Lost Highway because I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen Lost. It's been like literally 25 years since I've seen Lost Highway. Next one.
I found the center of fruit is Little's The Center of Truth today. Got the out. Are you just listing off lyrics here, man?
Oh, he's listing off lyrics. Okay. At least we can't get copyright struck for that.
Rose Betts sang the song right forth. Again, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, she sung it. As far as I know, I don't know. Dude, like I said, it's been 25 years. It's a David Lynch movie, and I'm not the biggest fan of David Lynch. Sorry, I don't get David Lynch. I will admit I will be the dumbest person in the room because I don't get David Lynch. But I don't get David Lynch. I don't get all of his work is like what? I don't get it. And everybody else is like sitting with their pinkies up saying, "Oh, I thought this was great." And I'm like, "What just fucking happened?" I feel like the dummy that failed every test in English class while everybody else is like, on to the next language. But I just don't get David Lynch. But
Okay, I think we got some left.
Manson lyrics is what he's doing. Which Marilyn Manson song is that?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure which one you guys are referring to.
Best Marilyn Manson song. And this isn't listen, I know he's a creepy motherfucker and he's done some shit. I'm talking exclusively about his sound. There's one song that just got me going during the 90s because it was one of the very few ones that they would play on the radio because the rest of this shit is crazy. Tourniquet. The bass line, the bass work, and the guitar work in Tourniquet is just fucking great. His voice which can be off-putting depending on what kind of music you're into. That's the one song that I can listen to over and over again. And like I said, the bass drives that song. And Tourniquet, oh my goodness, that was top tier Marilyn Manson for me. Everything else he did was just for shock value, in my opinion. But when he was doing shit like Tourniquet, he was doing music first. So that's just me.
Yeah,
he's Apple of Sodom.
William, I told you, but we love it.
Yeah, Warhol. Like I said, and I'm a fan of some of the stuff I'm a fan of Warhol's vision. I don't think. Obviously, he was a great artist. He did the Camel Can, but he had ideas. He went out there, and if you weren't on board with him, it took you a lot longer to appreciate where he's going. Like 24 hours of just a camera on the Empire State Building. I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that can explain the relevance to that to me. But if you have to, then I'm not that guy. Some of the stuff that he did, I got. Some of the stuff he did, I did not get. Some of the stuff he did, Roddy Fletcher, Frankenstein, things like that were horrible. But in their horribleness, they had an Ed Wood value to them. But some of the stuff he would do is just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I feel like I'm the dumbest person in the room, so I think I'll leave. So, yeah, that's a great comparison, by the way. All right. He's watching live. All right. So, all right, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I can start.
Not a lot of big topics today, but just kind of shooting the shit with you guys.
Pretty much. That's the other Bradley. The Bradley that did get us kicked off of YouTube now. I need to stop. Warhol, Lynch is better than Warhol. Well, Lynch is more complete than Warhol. There are still a lot that at Lynch I just don't understand and I don't get the effect of. But yeah, he wasn't as fragmented as what Andy Warhol was. Andy Warhol was all over the place. Lynch is a filmmaker, solely a filmmaker. Andy Warhol was an artist that dabbled in film, but he did it as part of this whole larger universe that he was living in. But yeah, whereas Lynch is basically a filmmaker, and that's pretty much it. I can explain all Lynch movies to you there, where you'll say, "Oh, I can see that." Yeah, and there's other people that have just they want me to screen this movie. We got to do a Lynch night. And I'm like, oh really? Do we? Do I need to be there for it? Oh yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, I just didn't get it at the time, and a lot, I'll go back someday, maybe when I'm in my 60s or 70s, and be like, you know what? Now I get it, but I just don't feel compelled to right now. Graces and Superman, Brad. That's some new. I've heard this bullshit all day. What is that about?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is the first I've heard of it, but
is it a joke? I saw it on somebody's streams and on Twitter, but obviously, just because it's there, I don't believe it, and I only saw it in the periphery, so I don't even think we should.
I think he's talking about Grace Randolph, and
yeah.
I don't know. She doesn't have like the best relationship with James Gunn via Twitter, so I'd be kind of skeptical of that.
So I think it's a joke.
Yeah,
she does acting. She's not.
Yeah, she had a cameo with Zombieland too, but yeah, this I take with a grain of salt.
But she makes a shit ton of money on YouTube. I mean, she makes a lot of money on YouTube because you look where she's living. She's literally doing that show from Lower Manhattan, and she's got a window view of the city. So, and she's got 1 million followers, and they super chat her, and she gets AdSense. So she's doing okay. So all the people who hate her, I can't stand her voice. I don't follow her. I don't subscribe to her. That shit, I cannot do that. It sounds like Mickey Mouse.
She also has a reputation of really stirring the pot among the Snyder fandom too.
Yeah, and then she flips, it's just like, what, I don't need to listen to you. But everybody gets so angry about her. I'm like, dude, you know what happened when I couldn't listen to her anymore? That little magical X on that upper right-hand side, it got rid of her. It made her voice go away. And you guys can do it too. It's magic. I'll teach you.
No, you don't hate her, but it's like she's just I saw one guy describe her one time. He said she's like a scoop mercenary, which is like, yeah, I don't think that's probably that far off from the truth.
It's you know what? She's got that house. She's got that condo in the middle of the city where I couldn't afford to be a homeless person. So she's doing something right. And you know what? She's got people in on her.
So, as we all know, Film Junkie, he picked the just the perfect drop for her, which I'm going to, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll share with you right now.
Oh, she uses this for McClellan.
Any big Grace News Film Junkie drops this.
Grace! Yeah, he actually has it loaded. If you want it, you can start loading drops into the video thing.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that.
I can't believe. I know I'm going to regret saying that. But all right,
I'll hold off on the Good Burger ones.
Yeah, Kenan Thompson was on one of the shows the other day talking about that, and I'm like, dude, this movie's been out a long ass time. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for pushing our number to from 2510 that I've been staring at for a couple of days to a new number I can look at now and push for tomorrow. It is important. I've already explained the importance to it. So you guys understand. I think you guys have been around us long enough to know. It leads to things like this. It leads to tools. It leads to us not, knowing someone that has lost someone in this manner. We're going to get to the point. We're going to get to the HIV point, I believe. We're going to get to where not every cancer, even though cancer kills a shit ton of people more than it ever should, but there are some cancers that are now, to the point where they're more treatable. There are things now that, early in early detection, all these things, we want to get this to that stage. And like I said, the only way you're going to do that is through research and supporting the people who are buying time. The people at 988, while all this research is going on, they're buying time for that guy who doesn't have the benefit of that research right now. They're getting him to that point. So, like I said, so whenever we get these advancements, doesn't mean we need to be losing people in the interim. So 988 Suicide Lifeline Prevention 24/7, call or text. Brad, I know they can find you at Kung Fu Panda. Where else can they find you?
You guys, of course, can find me on Twitter, Vero, here and there on Facebook. Find me on Kung Fu
Start
Kingdom.
trouble on Twitter. Start
Yeah.
shit.
Well, attracting probably is the better word for just making innocuous Zack Snyder related posts, but that's a rant for another day. Yeah, you can also find my writing on Kung Fu Kingdom and on Screen Rant, and of course, you can find me here on the Sci-Fi Center. And again, continuing to push our big Rebel Moon event as we get closer to it on December 22nd.
Yep, like I said, I'm going to be doing some videos, shooting some videos. I'm going to try to get on certain streams as my schedule applies. And like I said, I hope between now, in fact, this Friday, I'm hoping Junkie has a spot open for me to come on, because that would be the last one, because the very next week is the event, believe it or not. A week from coming Friday is the event. So we have time, but we don't have time at the same time. So there you go. All right, guys. Yeah, sorry for the lateness of my usual 10:30 stream, but I feel like shit. And the fact that I'm able to do anything while the ebbs and flows of this allergy thing, you're starting to see my eyes starting to swell shut. That's not pretty. Wake up to that shit. Wake up to trying to wake up to your alarm, and your eyes, you're like fighting like to pry your eyes open because they're so swollen because of the nasal shit. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, that was fun this morning. But all right, guys, we will see you. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow night. Maybe I'll take a break tomorrow. Maybe I'll take a break and just not stream and see if that helps me feel better. Who knows? Unless there's breaking news, and I don't mean like Superman's the mailroom guy gets casted. Like, not that kind of news. Like major news. If there's no major news, you might just not see me tomorrow unless I have a burst of energy. But right now, I fucking doubt it. So with that, for Bradley, for everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being the best part of this whole YouTube experiment. And I will see you when I see you.
All right, guys.